Well, hi there everyone, and welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me. I've got 3 yummy new recipes for you today. So let's just jump right in. I'm gonna start with the dessert. So for those of you who have never had an icebox cake, you are in for such a treat. This is a really yummy recipe. It's a make-ahead, no-bake cake. I'm calling it a cake. It's just, actually, you just put cookies, or you could use graham crackers. I put up on the screen a list of ingredients. I'll put the exact measurements down in the description box below this video, and I'll do that for all 3 of the recipes. But anyway, it's a light, layered dessert. It's gonna be red, white, and blue. And for the white layer, I'm gonna be whipping up some heavy cream, and then that is gonna be sweetened, and we're gonna add some cream cheese to that. So what I've done here so far is I've just whipped some heavy cream up to the point where I call it a soft peak. It's not really finished all the way, but it's close. And then I've sweetened it up with some powdered sugar, and then I added a little bit of vanilla. So that is basically a nicely sweetened whipped cream. And then to that, you need to add some softened cream cheese. And what I did was I just took a block of cream cheese, cut it into chunks, and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. And it was just the right texture to add. Whip that up a little bit more with your hand mixer. And this is the texture you're looking for in your cream layer. Now I'm gonna suggest you use a loaf pan for this recipe. It's just the perfect size for the amount of cream, and then it slices up really nicely because the slices are a little bit taller than if you were just using like an 8x8 pan. So I really do like using a loaf pan. And then what you do is you just start with a layer of cookies. I'm using the Maria cookies from Goya, but you could use like any kind of a shortbread cookie, or like I said, you could use a graham cracker. Divide your cream into 3 parts. You'll just add some freeze-dried fruit. I did a layer of strawberries here. You could definitely use raspberries if you prefer. If you want the red, white, and blue, I would, use maybe raspberries and blackberries, or strawberries and blueberries, or any one of those combinations. And since this is a layered dessert, you just repeat those layers. So a layer of cookies, a layer of cream, a layer of freeze-dried fruit, and then do that 3 times. I wanted to add blackberries, and y'all, I was at the very end of my can, and I wasn't gonna open another can, so I've decided to supplement with the blueberries. Then you just do the layers again. And I went ahead and put the fruit down on top of the cookies because I wanted to end with the white cream layer. And the nice thing about this recipe is not only is it super quick, but you don't have to refresh the fruit first. It will kind of soften as it sits in the refrigerator. This has to sit in your fridge for at least 6 hours, and then preferably overnight. I left mine in there overnight. So you can just decorate the tops with a little bit more fruit, some crumbled cookies, and then you can cover that and then put it in the refrigerator. And oh my word, y'all, this is such a great dessert, and it's make ahead. Like I said, you can make this the day before you need it. It's coming up on our Independence Day here in America, 4th of July, and red, white, and blue. Y'all, that's my theme for today. This is just a fun recipe. It's really tasty, and I just love the way it looks. I love the way the Maria cookies hold up in this dessert, even after being in the refrigerator overnight. They don't turn to mush. And I think I've made this before. My mom used to make this, but she would use graham crackers and just fresh strawberries. And I think the graham crackers, they got a little bit too mushy. So I do prefer it with this different kind of cookie. But y'all, you can put whatever kind of cookie you want in there. I mean, you could go crazy and put like ginger snaps or something in there if you really wanted to. I'm just saying it's totally up to you. The flavor profile with this is very mild. Maria cookies are kind of like just a vanilla cookie, similar to a vanilla wafer, but not quite as vanilla-y. But it's so, so good. I hope y'all try that recipe. I think you're gonna love it. All right, let's move on to the next recipe, which is a breakfast bake. And this recipe is based on my French toast casserole recipe that I already have up on my channel. I'll link to that below. But that one, I didn't have any kind of fruit in it, any kind of berries. And I'm going with my red, white, and blue theme again for this recipe. So I'm going to be adding raspberries and blueberries into this French toast casserole. And oh my word, this is delicious. The addition of the berries here, mwah, so good. Again, I'll put the list of ingredients here up on the screen, but the exact measurements are going to be down in the description box. So let me show y'all how I put this casserole together. I'm going to put this into 3 different bowls. I'm going to have kind of a dry mix that I'm going to combine with a wet mix, and then that all is going to come together in a 9x13 casserole dish. So into the bowl with the dry ingredients, we've got some Thrive Life scrambled egg mix, instant milk powder, some sugar, a little bit of salt, some cinnamon, and that is the dry mix, okay? Of course, if you want to add fresh eggs here, you go right ahead. You can just adjust the water that you add to it. And if you don't use the instant milk powder, if you use just fresh milk, you can eliminate the water altogether if you're using fresh eggs and fresh milk. The recipe that I have on my channel, it's a completely shelf-stable recipe. So I've got, powdered heavy cream in there, and I've got powdered cream cheese in there. So this is based on that recipe. And what I've done so far is I have melted some cream cheese in the microwave and then added some vanilla to that, and then added some fresh heavy whipping cream and mixed that into a nice homogeneous mixture. And I actually just used the same measuring cup for my water that I had my heavy cream in, so it looked like I put in some weird liquid, but it was actually just water, and I was just trying to rinse out the rest of that heavy cream from the measuring cup. And now that I've added the water to the eggs and the milk and the sugar mixture, I'll combine those 2 things. So this is going to become just an amazing custard. This custard mix right here, it is so delicious. All right, and into a 9x13, you can either do a cubed up loaf of French bread. I didn't have a loaf of French bread. I had 4 sub sandwich rolls, and so I just cut those up into cubes. Now you do have to refresh your fruit in advance, because if you don't, they're just gonna burn in the oven. So go ahead and refresh your fruit. And all I did was I added the water to that and let it sit in the fridge for like 20 minutes before I filmed this. All right, and then in goes the custard on top of all of the bread and the fruit. And you just want to kind of get an even distribution of custard in the 9x13 pan. And then I saw online, if you kind of smush it down with the back of a spatula, I think your bake will be nice and even. All right, now let's put the crumble topping on the French toast casserole. And again, I'll put the measurements down in the description box. But this crumble topping is what turns a really good casserole into a fabulous casserole. It just pushes this over the top, y'all. It's incredible and so quick, so easy to make. It's just a handful of ingredients and it comes together in no time at all. I just melted some butter in a bowl and I added a few more ingredients to that. You need to just mash it up with a fork and try to break up any clumps of brown sugar that you might have in there. And then you're looking for the texture of kind of like pebbles almost. So I just thought, yeah, mine was a little too wet, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more flour. Just add as much flour as you like until it gets to a texture that you think, yeah, that's a great texture for a crumble topping. And then you're just gonna put that on top of the French toast casserole. And not only is this gonna make this taste amazing, but it's also gonna protect the fruit and keep it from burning in the oven. So I did cover that and I baked it for about 40 minutes. And then the last 10 minutes, I took the aluminum foil off of the top and let it brown a little bit. But y'all, isn't that gorgeous? And wow, the fruit in here is fantastic. The blueberries are just bursting with flavor. The raspberries, they're kind of sweet and tart at the same time. It's just such a great casserole. Top that with some powdered sugar and a little drizzle of maple syrup. And this right here is a perfect French toast casserole. I'm not usually a sweet kind of a breakfast girl. Every once in a while I do like it. And this is one of those exceptions. I love this for breakfast. We actually ate it for dinner. This right here is an excellent meal. We love it. This is a really yummy recipe. The custard bakes up beautifully in there. And oh my word, y'all, the fruit. Thrive Life fruit. It's excellent. I think it's probably because they let it grow on the vine until it's ripe. It just tastes so much better than a lot of other fruit you could get. Have y'all ever bought a container of strawberries or a container of blueberries from the grocery store, brought it home? It looks beautiful, and then you wash it and you taste it, and it just doesn't have flavor. It just tastes kind of like water. I just hate that. You never are going to have that happen with Thrive Life fruit because it's just always fantastic. All right, let's move on to our next recipe, which is the chili for some chili dogs. Now, some people call this chili sauce or hot dog sauce. We've always just called it chili for chili dogs. So anyway, call it whatever you want. These are the ingredients that you're gonna need for the chili. And the reason I love using the Thrive Life ground beef for this and making this myself is because you can customize the amount of food you make. So let's say you're just making enough chili for maybe 2 people. You could cut my recipe in half or maybe in thirds, or you can even make a quarter of this recipe and just make enough for you. I think that's great. That way we don't have to worry about leftovers and that kind of thing. This made enough for about 6 people, possibly 8. So anyway, keep that in mind. You might have to scale it down if you're making it for fewer people. But I'm just gonna dump everything into this saucepan and then I'll put it on the stove and cook it. The meat has a much better texture if you'll go ahead and pulse it in the blender. I mean, don't blend it to smithereens here. There's still some texture there, but when it cooks up, it will have more of that poached meat texture that you look for in a chili sauce or in a hot dog chili. For me, I think hot dog chili does not have beans in it. Okay, I just don't like the beans on a hot dog. But if you want to put beans in here, put beans in here. This is, your kitchen, your rules, right? Make this delicious for you. I think the Thrive Life tomato sauce is great in here. And you might think of it like a marinara, but it's actually not too Italian in its flavor profile. It's just flavored, and you can amp up the Italian if you want to. But for this recipe, I'm adding chili type seasonings. So it's gonna taste like chili. It's not gonna taste like an Italian anything. It's just gonna taste like chili. I've got chili powder, I've got cumin and paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. All of these seasonings are gonna turn this into chili, even though I am using the Thrive Life tomato sauce. It's kind of like a base tomato sauce, and you can turn it into any kind of flavor profile that you want with the addition of more seasonings. So you've seen me put all of these things into a saucepan, right? Which means you could actually turn this into a meal in a jar if you would prefer that. If you want to make this in advance, put it in a pint-sized jar, and keep it on your pantry shelf. You could totally do that. So I'm going to go ahead and add the water to this, give it a really good stir, and then get some heat going. And what I'll want to do is bring this up to a bubble, and that might take, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Stir it every once in a while so it doesn't stick on you. And then once it comes to a boil, you'll want to turn your heat down, probably to a medium low. I think I left mine at a 3 out of 10 on my stove. And I just went ahead and I cooked this. I let it simmer, but I covered it. And I cooked this for about 10 minutes covered. And I did come along and stir it every, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes or so. And then after the 10 minutes, I left it uncovered and cooked it for an additional maybe 5 or 8 minutes, just until I got to the texture that I wanted for my chili. All right, so this is what it looked like after 10 minutes of the cook time on about a medium low with the lid on. I put a splash guard on there because that way the steam can escape, but the mess is kept to a minimum. And after about 5 more minutes of cooking on a medium low, my chili was to the right consistency. This is how I like it. Now, if you want it even thicker than that, just keep cooking it for maybe another 5 minutes. And you can adjust your seasonings at this point. But your beef should be completely rehydrated. There should be no crunch left to it. It should be just a regular, nice chili at this point. And while your chili cooks, you can grill your hot dogs. Now, I like mustard and chili, and I'm a slaw girl. I love slaw on my hot dogs. Now, this is not for everybody, but oh, I love the crunch, and yeah, I'm definitely a slaw girl. If we don't have slaw, I will put mustard, chili, cheese, and onions on my hot dogs. I love that as well. Doesn't this just look like it would be perfect for the 4th of July? Ah, just look at those. Aren't they pretty? And that chili, wow. Y'all, it's so flavorful. It's a great chili for a chili dog. Now, I do have a couple other recipes for chili on my channel, and those are more for like a bowl of chili. This right here, this is really specifically for hot dogs. It's the right consistency. It doesn't have the beans in it. If you're gonna put it on a hot dog, then I'm gonna recommend this recipe versus the other ones that are up on my channel. I love how the beef gets that poached ground beef texture to it. It's just so tender, melt in your mouth good, and it's great flavor. All right, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoy my content, please hit the like button and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of these recipes and what y'all are doing to celebrate the 4th of July at your house. All right. Well, I pray you'll have a wonderful Independence Day. God bless you. God bless America. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.